Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the No Mustard Podcast. This podcast is brought to you from the purchase of my magazines and art by viewers like you. You can learn more about my work or subscribe to the Fast Food Legend newsletter by visiting fastfoodlegend.com. I'd like to introduce my guest this week, DonnyBoys, the creator behind DonnyBoys, a viral social media account that dominates his attempt to visit every single McDonald's location in the United States. Currently in his 20th month of the project, he has visited 437 McDonald's. His work blends travel, mapping, and digital storytelling, turning everyday locations into a kind of navigable archive of lived experience. Welcome, DonnyBoys. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
So let's start. I'm going to show you a picture on the screen, okay?
Okay.
And it's of the McDonald's in Delafield, Wisconsin, which, as far as I could tell, this would have been the closest location to where you grew up. Is that right?
Yeah, no, that is true. Well, technically, the first one I went to is the closest to where grew up.
Okay, that's
But
the
yeah,
second picture. We're gonna look at that picture next, and I was gonna
okay.
ask you why you started with that one as opposed to this one. But the thing that intrigued me about this one is this patio. Tell me about it.
Well, they don't have that patio anymore. Yeah, I think they took that away. I haven't been, I don't live in Wisconsin anymore, but yeah, they do not have that patio. That picture is old. The McDonald's still looks like that, but yeah, no, that picture's definitely old. They kind of took away the patio. I think it's on the other side now. It's like they're a little other thing. But wait, what was your other question?
So start with this. Was this your childhood McDonald's? This location?
Kind of, yeah. I would say the three around that area. So Ryan Street in Pewaukee, Oconomowoc, and then Delafield. So these three were like my childhood McDonald's.
Do you have any memories of this one that you wanted to share?
Um, I do remember when I was like, God, this was probably 10 years ago, probably like 2016 when they were doing, do you remember when they were doing the Junior Big Macs? You remember that? That was a long time ago. Here, let me look that up when did McDonald's do Junior Big Macs? That was my first memory from this location.
Okay.
Um, oh, early 2017. Okay, so early 2017 was my first memory. I was originally born in Chicago, but don't really remember that. But yes, 2017 was my first memory of this location.
Okay. So let's have a look at the McDonald's that you started this project with, which was 880 East Wisconsin Avenue.
Yep.
This was the first one 20 months ago. You visited here. Tell me about how you got the idea to do this and what it was like the first day going to film.
Okay, so the idea, I was in Hartford, Wisconsin when I thought of the idea, getting my car fixed actually. And me and my friend, we were driving to pick up my car in Hartford, which is about 40 minutes away from here, 30, 40. And I've always loved traveling and I loved McDonald's. And I told him like, oh my God, it would be so cool if like we went to every single McDonald's. And like he thought it was a joke and kind of like I was like kind of joking when I said it. And I was like, all right, let's start a TikTok and we'll go to every single McDonald's. Like, we're going to document all of them, blah, blah, blah. And then we came back from picking up my car and back to our town. And we went to this McDonald's specifically. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to record it and post it online. And it got like 1,000 views. And, it was like a fun project for me and my friend. That's where the name came from, DonnyBoys, because it was a project with another person, which that he ended up backing out of it after like 30, 40 videos. But yeah, no, I mean, it was originally a joke, pretty much.
Yeah, I saw in the early videos that it's you two of you eating because you show
Yep.
like yeah. Okay. So what was it like going here with the camera, like with your phone the first time? And you're like,
Yep.
how did you start to figure out what you were going to do when you walked inside? Like, how did you start to figure out, for
I
example,
kept
you do the ice cream, the coffee, the bathrooms, like how did that start to form from this first day?
So the first one, I mean, the biggest complaint about McDonald's is that they don't have their ice cream machine never works. So I'm like, okay, well, we gotta like, I mean, the big point of this, go to every single McDonald's, see if the ice cream machine's working. So you go on the kiosk, see if it's available. Bathrooms, McDonald's bathrooms constantly smell. I've posted so many videos about how disgusting McDonald's bathrooms are. And that's another key checkpoint. That's what I do now. I don't know if I did it in this video. I kind of forget. I'd have to watch it again. But at this time when I first started recording them, it was just kind of all over the place. There was no like formal like plan that I would do and how I would record it. I just kind of just opened my phone and did it.
So let's have a look at another location. This is the Blue McDonald's in Sedona
Oh yeah,
that
that's
you
a good
went to. Now,
one.
tell me, at what point did you branch? Like, obviously, you went to all the closest ones you could get to by car.
Yep.
At what point did you decide to cross a state line and keep moving forward?
I believe it was number 60 something that I first went to Arizona and started doing locations there. So that's technically the second state that I visited besides McDonald's. And that's when the project kind of started shifting into more of a serious thing. Like, okay, maybe this is actually possible. Because in my early days, it was very slow. I wouldn't post as much. Sometimes I'd go 2 or 3 days without posting. And this is probably the most famous McDonald's in the country would be this McDonald's, the International McDonald's, or the big one in Orlando, Florida. So yeah, I went to this one. And I mean, the Sedona area is beautiful. The history about this McDonald's is pretty interesting. So yeah.
When you finally made it, was this the first of the big three that you went to?
Um,
I know you did the international one. I don't think you did the Orlando one yet. But
no, I haven't done the Orlando one yet.
was this the first of? Did you do this before the international one?
Technically, I did the international one. I went to the international one, but I did not film it. I went to this is the first big one I went to. I went to the international one right when I started and I filmed it and it just wasn't like it was just all over the place, so I didn't decide to post it. And then this was the first big one I went to. Yeah, it filmed.
So you've done 60 something so far. You're on this trip.
Mhm.
I'm sure you're kind of like still not 1,000% knowing what you're doing at this point.
Yeah.
When you actually get to this location with all of this momentum behind you, what did it feel like when you got out of the car?
I don't know. I always thought like this one specifically was gonna like really, really blow up, which like, it did. It got like 400,000 views, I think. 600,000, I kind of forget. But I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, I get to travel the country and go to McDonald's, and now I'm at like probably the most famous McDonald's. So I really did enjoy this location. I enjoyed the area too, because I spent the day in Sedona and I went with a couple friends.
Let's look at the next one. This is the international, the headquarters.
Yep.
Okay. So did you go back there a second time and refilm?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've actually been there 4 times.
All right.
Yeah, I
So
love this. It's my favorite.
so when you went back to film with this new knowledge that you had and this more experience, did you go in with like less of the experience of being there and more like this is work mentality? Or was it still like I'm gonna enjoy this and then I'm gonna make the video, on the side? Like how were you feeling and thinking about it while you were there the second time?
Um, no, not work. I mean, I don't really call this journey work. I've never called my TikTok work. I mean, yes, it makes money a little bit, but like I don't know. I have really enjoyed especially this location. I mean, this is one I was super excited for. When I'm in Chicago, I always go to this location. Like I always do. Whenever I'm in Chicago, I always stop at this location, no matter where I am. I love to see the international food they have going on there. They do different I don't know if you knew this, but they do different food items here than a regular McDonald's. And the McDonald's at this location is like 100 times better than any McDonald's in the country. Because they are held to a pretty high standard over there. So you get some fresh McDonald's there.
When you're there and you're presented with all these options that you wouldn't normally have, as you describe, do you like overeat? How do you pick exactly what you're going to get with this limited window of time or this, how do you decide what to do when you're there?
I usually just see what's most appetizing. I think the last time I was there, they had I don't know if they still have them there. I had these, like, little French donuts, I think they're French or Spain. They're like, I don't know if you've ever been to Topgolf and you get those little, like, filled donuts, uh, but it's basically that, and it's way better too. They are amazing, and they have, like, specialty McFlurries. I've gotten one there, and then I'll usually just do a burger from a different location in the world because they sell their international food there.
And like, where else do you eat when you're in Chicago?
Oh, like, you even other fast food restaurants or just
Just,
McDonald's
just,
specifically?
just, just in general, like, where do you eat
Oh,
when you're in Chicago other than McDonald's?
Portillo's. That is a great place to go. I'm pretty sure that's from Chicago.
It is, yes.
Yep, Portillo's, yep. I always love Portillo's. Um, I think that's really the only other there's Chicago deep dish pizza that I'll get in Chicago. That's, I mean, the best. I think it's Grimaldi's, right? Is that the Chicago brand? Forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, Grimaldi's, yeah. And then, yeah, that's Culver's, but that's a Wisconsin thing. But still, it's still there.
This is the Green Bay, Wisconsin location, or
Oh,
one
yeah.
of them at least. But this
Yep.
was one of your highlights
Mhm.
here. And you mentioned that it was an older structure.
Yep.
And I looked inside, it's been retrofitted. It reminded me of the McDonald's they were building in the 90s to look like this, which there's a bunch of. Tell me about this one.
This one, I did not know that it was in Green Bay. So I drove up to Green Bay to film, and, I went to every single one in one day in Green Bay, and when I saw this one, I was like, "Oh, wow, that's cool," because I have not seen one like this. I know there's one in Downey, California, I believe.
So
Donnie?
The Downey one is not like this. The Downey one has a walk-up window.
Yeah, it's similar design, though. I do know that this was, like, if you from watching the movie, the founder and the research, this was like one of their second designs that McDonald's released. So those two arches, right there, and then it was made to stick out. And I like how they had this design. I don't know when this location was built. I don't know if it was meant to mimic just the if it was built in the 80s or 90s just kind of as a retro thing, or if it was original and they kept the style. Because a lot of McDonald's now, there used to be a lot of McDonald's that used to look like this, but they've obviously changed how they look because, business purposes, more, going with times. And I just thought this one was super cool, especially in a smaller town like Green Bay, Wisconsin, to have, a unique McDonald's like this. And not a lot of people knew that. I didn't know that. And, I get thousands and thousands of comments like of cool McDonald's or local McDonald's or pictures of other McDonald's, and I didn't even know this was here.
I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure this one is from the 90s. There's another
90s?
one.
Okay.
Yeah, there was another one just like it in Las Vegas and another one just like it in Orlando. The Orlando one got demolished.
Ugh.
The Vegas one is still there. And I believe there's one in Los Angeles as well with this
Yep.
format. The only reason I think this might be original is the location of the drive through. The more modern ones have the drive through on either side of the arch with a much wider um, canopy. But
Yeah.
just from looking at how it was, the interior, I got the sense that it wasn't original. But I was just curious about that.
Yeah, I think they modernized the interior a little bit, and from the locations that I've been to that have been, like, older, they'll redo the inside, but they won't redo the outside.
Yeah. This is in Tucson. It's the Dinosaur McDonald's.
Yep, that's a
This
good
is
one.
wonderful. Tell me about visiting this one.
This one, I mean, it's pretty much just a regular McDonald's. A lot of people in my comments said it used to look different. It used
It
to
did.
have
I
like
looked at pictures. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So they kind of ruined it a little bit, but I mean, this is like an icon of Tucson, Arizona, of just this big, dinosaur sitting at an intersection with a McDonald's. So it's definitely an interesting one. I didn't really I liked it. I mean, the dinosaur was cool, but the McDonald's was just a regular McDonald's. I mean, there's nothing, super interesting about it.
This was intriguing. You referred to this one as McStabby's. It was in Seattle.
McStabby's, yeah. This is probably one of the worst McDonald's in the United States. And that's not even by me, that's probably by the general public. When I went to Washington, I started posting Washington around the Seattle area. My comments were flooded with, "Oh my gosh, go to, go to the McDonald's on 3rd and Pine in Seattle, Washington. It's the best area. It's the best McDonald's in the country." Or even like my first video I that blew up was number 7. One of the top comments was, "Oh, you need to go to McDonald's on 3rd and Pine in Washington." It's like a running joke that, if you go to Washington, you need to go to 3rd and Pine. It's like paradise. No, it's probably, it's a terrible, terrible location. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I heard this from a comment section. This might not be true, but apparently there was like some drug thing going on here during quarantine where they were selling drugs out of the McDonald's or something like that. I don't know if that's true or not. I did not look into that, so don't quote me on that. But the locals in Washington call it McStabbies.
One of the things that I find so endearing about your videos, when I started watching them, I sat down and I watched like the first 40 in a row
Oh,
until I couldn't take any more, right?
yeah.
Because your brain, you could only handle so much information at a time. And I was like, wow, I never knew there were so many clean and nice McDonald's in this country because I've spent the majority of my life living in big cities, New
Yeah.
York, LA, places like that. And so this doesn't look particularly bad to me. Like I've seen much, much worse than this. And so I really loved when you're like, this is dangerous and it's terrible. And I'm like, this is nothing. And at the same time, having a completely different life and a completely different perspective, you'll go into some of these McDonald's, you'll be like, it was a 5 out of 6. It was dirty. It was this or that. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is immaculate compared to what I'm used to. And I think it's very funny. One of those nice things about social media and one of the nice things about being able to have phones in our pocket and share our lives and share our perspectives is that we both get to see a completely different side of the world, even though it's the same chain, it's the
Uh-huh.
same interest that we both like McDonald's
Yeah.
interiors and things, that we can see so much different stuff and share so much different stuff. I think is really, really wonderful. And it's really what um, uh, I liked about your videos so much. Let's see. This one is the Portland location that you hated. This would be an example of one of these. So to me, I've never seen this kind of interior before with that wall, but like to me, this is spotless. There's no homeless people sleeping on on the
Was that on my
tables.
TikTok or was that
No, I found this one on Google Maps, but it
oh
was the
well, yeah,
location. It's the same location you visited, and on your location you showed like French fries on the floor and
yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah.
But like I'm used to walking in a McDonald's in a city. There'll be homeless people sleeping on the tables and the benches.
Yep.
There will be people bringing in their own food from the outside and just hanging out, as like a center to hang out. I've seen every kind of thing you can imagine. So even with the couple of French fries on the floor and a little graffiti on the bathroom door, to me this is like heaven on earth. Um, Tell me about why you had such a visceral reaction to this location.
I mean, if you look at Portland, Portland, Oregon, some people thought I was in Portland, Maine when I was recording these, but no, Portland, Oregon. Think the population is about 800,000 in the city. It's not that big of a city. It's not LA. It's not Seattle. It's nowhere close to these big, big cities. Portland had some of the worst McDonald's locations in the country. It has some of the worst drug issues in the country, and it's like a quarter of the size of these big cities. So, if I can, let's compare it to a city around the same size as Portland, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, that I've visited every location there as well. And you don't see as much stuff going on in Milwaukee, Wisconsin as you do Portland. Portland, you have, you know, I remember the first one I went to, I don't think it was this one. Maybe it was this one. It was on Burnside, and it was the first location I went to in Oregon. I just landed, and I walk in, and there's literally a guy overdosing in the lobby. Of course, I did not film that, but the McDonald, like he's shaking back and forth on the bench. I'm like, what is going on at this location? And I asked the McDonald's boy, I'm like, is he okay? And they're like, I'll just leave it, just leave it. I'm like, okay, all right. I mean, I don't think so, but yeah, no, Portland specifically. I mean, they need help. They need serious help over there.
I want to see what the next one is.
Is that another Portland?
No, this is the last. It's not the last thing we're going to talk about, but this was the last image I wanted to show you. This was a Walmart you went to in Surprise, Arizona, and at
Yep.
this point, it seemed like you really reached your breaking point with Walmart McDonald's in the series. At this point, you're like, this is all these Walmart McDonald's are trash, and you had really just kind of had it that day. Tell me about that.
Um, every single. I mean, I think that I've been to one Walmart McDonald's that actually was pretty good. I think it was in Mesa, maybe two. But I mean, every Walmart McDonald's is just a disaster. And you can look through my comments, you can look through the videos. I've only been to them in Arizona and California, so maybe they're better. But no, they're just the ones I've been to. It's just trash all over the place. There's constantly people loitering. Stuff like that. They're constantly out of things. Usually the employees don't pick up at these locations. And I even said in my most recent Walmart McDonald's location that they should be discontinued, which I firmly believe that they should be discontinued.
What do you mean
But
what do you mean it's a disaster? Other than them being out of stuff and them being dirty, like what is it about it that really triggers you so much? Because you really seem like quite upset about them in a way.
you're gonna get probably the worst food quality from McDonald's at a Walmart location. That, or if you go to McDonald's past like a 24-hour McDonald's at night, sometimes some of them are great. Some of them you're gonna get some old food that's just sitting in the little containers forever. Walmart, that's the same thing. You're just constantly getting worst quality food, and that's from my experience. I've been to some, it's not all of them. I've been to some that are great. I've had great service at a Walmart McDonald's before, but I would say 95% of the locations that I've been to in Walmart are just horrible. They're disgusting. The food quality is awful compared to a regular location.
I'm sure people watching are going to want to know because you've been doing this for a while now and you've built a good reputation and a nice library of video. Has McDonald's reached out to you? And if so, at what point did they reach out to you? What did they say?
No, McDonald's has never reached out to me. They did comment on one of my videos. They did comment on one of my videos. Here, I'll
That's interesting.
pull that up. I think it's one in Tucson. It was pretty recent. I actually didn't even see that they commented. It took me a while to figure that out. Let's see here. Oh wait, no, it was in no, it wasn't in Mesa.
And it was like McDonald's corporate commented.
Yep. Yeah, their corporate account. Yeah, right here. If you can see, they said, bro, unlocking random side quests. That's the first time that they've commented or reached out whatsoever, but informally, business wise, anything like that, they've never reached out.
Like, is it frustrating to you that they've never reached out? Or you just like you're trying to just keep going and do this thing one way or another?
No, I mean, I was never really looking for, I mean, yeah, when it first blew up, I was like, oh, they're definitely gonna reach out, whatever. I wasn't really looking for their approval. I mean, it'd be cool if they reached out. I talked to them. I've had a lot of employees reach out to me, some high ups in different McDonald's franchises, talk to them and stuff like that. But corporate themselves, they've never reached out to me now.
What is your dream when this is over? I know you expect it to take about 10 years or so.
Mhm.
And I assume what you're doing is you're like going in patches, like when you have time and money, you're like going to
Yep.
one place and right? And then you go home, try to get some more money in time, and do the next batch. When this is all done in about 10 years or so, what is your dream for the end of the accomplishment?
Um, I guess I want to own my own franchise. It would be cool if McDonald's themselves let me have my own franchise and let me have a cool design. I want to have a interesting McDonald's revolving around this entire journey, and I mean, this would be probably one of the hardest challenges in history to happen, maybe. I don't know. It probably will never happen again. No one else will do it. You know, there's been a lot of people that saw my account and created their own accounts being like, "Oh, I'm going to every McDonald's," trying to copy whatever for views. You know, usually they quit after like 30, 40. But no, yeah, I would like to franchise my own location or a couple locations and yeah, no, have a interesting design in my McDonald's, something that stands out.
That's such an interesting answer because I
Mhm.
don't know if you're familiar with this YouTuber, or I'm sure some of my viewers are. There's a famous Japanese YouTuber named Twix ASMR. And what she did is she started out going to get massages and facials and pedicures and stuff like that. And she did it for years. She would just like film her sister would film her getting treatments. And they learned so much in the process, they ended up opening a spa. And so you're kind of doing the American version of that, I
Yep.
guess, in a way. It's not what I expected you were going to say. So I think that's so interesting. You're basically doing store checks to learn all about what works and what doesn't. Um, and that's a great answer. The other
Yeah.
thing I wanted to ask you about, now there's a man, I believe his name was Jeff Green, who walked every street in New York City, every single block. And it took him 7 years or 8 years, used the same kind of map software like you're using, did the same kind of thing. And when it was all over, there was sort of nothing left for him with that accomplishment. Do you ever
Yeah.
worry that like you're going to finish all this and it's just going to be like, okay, I did it, or like where is your mindset in terms of, do you want to go to international locations and just keep doing this for the rest of your life in a way, or uh, did you just start doing it because you didn't know what else to do and now you're stuck in it? Where are you at with it right now?
Um, I think when I'm done, I'll be done. I mean, I'd love to go to international. It's not possible to go to every McDonald's in the world. I think there's 33 or 34,000 of them, maybe more, I forget. And the amount of money that you would need to be able to fly, and some of them are you can't even go to at all without, certain passports, stuff like that. So probably not going to go to every McDonald's in the world. That's a little far fetched. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'd do a series of McDonald's in each country potentially even a spin-off from this series even during it maybe if I decide to do that. But no, after, I mean, I will still keep social media, I'll still keep posting even if I've done every location, if I have my own or whatever the next step is that I'll keep posting at least and keep my presence on social media.
The shoot, what was I gonna? You said something so interesting. Um, Hang on, I lost it. Just a moment.
Oh, you're good.
Uh, oh yes, I believe it was you. You can correct me if I'm wrong. That you did not know you could go on an army base to visit a McDonald's on an army base, and in the comments, the people were explaining to you that absolutely you can.
Yep.
Yeah. Were there any other things that you did not know about domestic travel like that you've learned so far in this adventure?
um Yeah, nah, domestic travel. Oh, I've definitely learned how to get cheap flights, times to fly, when to fly to certain locations. Um, I've learned, driving. I have driven. tens of thousands of miles to make these videos possible. I learned a lot about how the interstates work. I-10, I-5, I can basically, from these videos, like, you could put me on a random interstate and I could drive my way back home, which is cool, from being out from filming these videos. But yeah, no, that and then the military-based McDonald's, you can get on those. I just need someone to give me a visitor pass, which I've had, thousands of people reach out in the military, be like, "Oh, I'll give you a visitor pass," whatever. And then another big comment along that is the McDonald's and the Pentagon. Everyone, when it was trending, the song, the McDonald's and the Pentagon, whatever, there is not actually a McDonald's in the Pentagon. There was in like the 80s or the 90s, but they discontinued it. So, you, you know, every McDonald's in America you can go to pretty much. There's no ones that are not, only exclusive to certain people.
DonnyBoys, this has been so interesting. Thank you so much. I'm going to put links to his various channels, which all have the same kind of stuff, but the bulk of them is on TikTok. So I'll put that first, and I hope you'll visit him on TikTok. Check out his videos, see what it's all about. Thanks so much for joining us. I'll see you guys next week.
Thank you guys.